Clothing for persons on the spectrum. The past. The purpose of this video is to show you that personal style can be very complicated. We have to start with my past, in rural Colorado where dressing merely meant weather. The fashion sense here will always be completely practical. Winter lasts 9 months and summer is brutal heat or hailstorms, and weather can change from 70 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning to 30 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing by a long afternoon. My mother was not from the rural West and was very fashion conscientious, but she was 6 feet tall at 12 and ended up making a lot of her clothes. She knew even in the 50s and 60s that she looked best in autumn colors. She also fit into the dramatic kibbe type, exactly with an angular frame but a lot of muscle body. She loved dressing to show off her long, shapely legs. I was also 6 feet tall at 12 and lacked my mother's weight, being about 90 pounds with small bones and little muscle body. I was also habitually sick, but I had inherited the red hair and all the redhead problems. My mother let me dress how I wanted, and I took to wearing costumes and quickly got into making costumes for theater and myself. I was eccentric and then extreme and hated dressing normal. It was nearly impossible to blend in, so I developed a rebel attitude towards fashion. Growing too fast left me with a disease in the spine and got me out of physical education, which I hated, but I had physical therapy and dance classes for years, which made me more rebellious about fashion. I started wearing black, which was just not done at that time. My favorite color was dark blue and teal, but I kept making clothing that took me out of my comfort zone. I went to school in England, where I fell in love with wool. I even made my own buttons. My usual attire was a vest and skirt or a black velvet jacket and jeans or my flowy dresses. By the time I was 25, I was 115 pounds. I had run away from home and was working 2 full-time jobs. And possibly then, I got used to people calling me a scarecrow. I was extremely shy and reserved, but continued to dress eccentric. I had a cape of royal blue and got attacked on the bus one night for being a witch. With my hair deepening to a true red, being called a witch was common. I also suffered men asking me not to talk to them because I wasn't attractive enough to date. I wasn't anorexic or starving. I just burned through 4,000 calories a day trying to keep up with my jobs. I wore mostly black, but also white, red, magenta, blue, purple, and olive green. I continued to make my clothes, but I was just too poor to afford fancy fabric. Not only does the past play a part in the way you dress, but also personality. Not only am I eccentric, but I am extremely introverted and also very reserved. Black, although not my most flattering color, helped me feel grounded and less like a clown. I preferred black with another bright color, usually deep but saturated. I have always fought the weight, and in my 40s developed arthritis and stomach issues, which I dealt with by changing my diet. I continued to make costumes, but left off sewing professionally. My first job after I ran away was as a seamstress, where I made $5 for 3 hours work. It may seem brutal, but I was glad to have a job, any job. But making clothes is a way for me to relax. My passion is as a writer-illustrator. I write and draw my own books, but like sewing, the pay is abysmal for illustration, and I have published my own books, picture books, and graphic novels. I have not been able to escape my day job as a bookkeeper, tax consultant, and forensic auditor, but I live now in a town where people don't care much how you dress. I can continue to wear what I want, which I will show you. The problem. My coloring doesn't photograph well. Sometimes the camera makes my hair very red orange or russet. Other times I look blonde or even brown. Most color analysts would put me in the spring category, but my eyes are deep, although my lashes are blonde and my brows are brownish red. My skin is very pale and freckles, but my coloring is not light or muted, but medium contrast. I abhor most spring colors, and my worst color is salmon, or anything bright yellow or orange or lime green. Autumn colors might be better, but again, I don't look good in pinks, warm browns, golds, or brick red. But more serious, I cannot wear many of the clothes I make if they have decoration, too many colors, bright embroidery, too much lace, or the bright color. I tried to make dresses that are only elaborate in simple details and have rejected them as feeling off. This feeling is like walking into a cloud of mosquitoes and cannot be ignored. I sew extremely fast, my legacy from costuming. I don't like patterns or a mannequin. I just cut and sew, making up the design as I go to fit the fabric. I stopped using patterns because they wasted fabric and I was very poor. I don't like the feeling of most fabrics, even silk or satin. I don't like knits, which most spectrum people prefer for comfort. I have to have a very particular feeling in my clothes. I believe that many people, and not just highly sensitive people with sensory issues, need a particular feeling in their clothes. For most people, this is a look. I have that a bit, but more, I want a feeling that has nothing to do with appearance. I must have a fitted top and waist, straight sleeves, a full skirt of a certain length, and no decoration that I can see while I'm working. I've tried so hard to expand out of my comfort zone in the past 6 years. I'm in my late 60s, and after menopause, I was finally able to gain weight, but it was all in my torso. My arms, legs, and face are still very thin. But in 2018, I got some linen from the thrift store and fell in love. Linen frays easily, but I was already sewing with French seams because they use less thread. You can buy discounted fabric and still spend a fortune on patterns and notions. I found a linen retailer online and bought as much as I could afford when the Ukrainian war broke out, because the linen I use is from the Baltic, and I knew that shipping expenses would drive the prices up. Like wool, linen is forgiving, but most people don't like it because it doesn't hold the press and wrinkles. I've made maybe 400 outfits since then and sold most of them. I do love making costumes, history bounding, Lolita for plus size, and cottagecore. I try to make all my clothes adjustable. I was interested in makeup at 14 and asked my mother about wearing it, and she replied that no amount of makeup would cover the flaws in my face. A bad experience with eyeliner which gave me an allergic reaction, made me give up. I have rarely changed my hair or colored it. The one expression I had was clothing. For shoes were also a problem. I could not wear heels, and my feet are a strange size. I also wear a 36-inch inseam in my pants and have been laughed out of stores that sell jeans. I also have a 27-inch sleeve, but very small torso. I learned in an art class that according to my torso, I should be 5'6". It seemed that no matter what I wanted to wear, it wouldn't work. Hats were too small, dresses were too short, skirts were a joke, jeans were silly, and on until I was just a failure right and left. I wore out clothing that fit, even clothes that I made. The color thing was also a joke. When you are colorful, you often don't want to wear more color. Most redheads I know love calm, cool colors that don't make them even brighter. Also, if you have an unattractive face, you might not want to draw attention to it. I've known many people who could not look at me, so clothing was something for them to look at. Failures. The color people go on about how you look in color and not so much about how you feel. Even if you look less attractive in black, you may feel so much better and act accordingly. I'm supposed to be a spring. There are only 3 or 4 colors from that palette I will wear. Autumn is a bit better with 8 colors. Summer is much better with about half the palette in colors I might wear. But winter is best, and I am not supposed to be a winter, let alone a deep winter where I live comfortably. I looked at a soft summer and autumn, which should be right, especially now that my hair is going wacky. And because I'm 6 feet tall, I'm lumped into the dramatic hippie body type. I also have masculine features, but an hourglass torso. I've been 34, 24, 36, 36, 24, 38, 38, 28, 40, and so on with that waist, however elongated. They've now got a soft dramatic type, which is a bit better. As I age, I reject more and more clothing. Dresses that people might claim are fine, I can no longer wear. It has little to do with looks. When you are on the spectrum, almost everything has to do with being socially acceptable, comfortable enough not to be distracted, and just okay with how you feel. On the spectrum, the environment is hostile and there is no promise of attraction. It's about management. I don't like to leave the house. Dressing up makes that easier, but I can't plan ahead. It's about how I feel that morning. What do you do when your personality clashes with how you look? I have a masculine face and have often wished that I could have been gay, but I'm about as femme as you can get. I cannot abide wearing anything masculine like pants. In my mom phase, chasing a toddler, I always felt like a foreigner in the practical clothing. I might be an ethereal type, but although I like flowy skirts, that type is too flowy with too much frou-frou. I would love to be invisible. I have a demeanor that makes people ask me for help and talk to me. That might be okay for an extrovert, but for someone as private and self-contained as I am, it's a trial. I like people, but they just wear me out. Dressing is a way to be a costume. I'm not the tall woman with the red hair, but the woman who dresses vintage or cottagecore or in those wonderful clothes. What they can't see is me trying to manage. Too hot, too cold, too itchy, too colorful, too tight, or too loose. I've dyed my clothes, fixed the fit, changed them completely, but sometimes I just have to sell them. Even that's a problem. I have to be okay with just recovering my costs, for no one can afford to pay what a garment is worth. A way to live. I have a stubborn and rebellious nature. I made a color chart of colors that I will wear. Notice that they are all cool and are both a complement to the skin and the hair without clashing. I encourage you to do this. But the funny thing is in this chart where I took out the colors not in my closet and left only the colors I do wear, only 14 colors. I counted up everything I have, and it's average at about 100 items. No jewelry. I can't stand it and it gives me hives. Only 1 hat, 2 coats, and 6 pairs of shoes. No trainers. Split into winter and summer. You can see the layering. Winter is 13 items and summer is only half that. My clothes combine to make different outfits, but alert. On a good day, I can wear 2 colors. Even embroidery has to be the same color as the fabric. Most days it's 1 color with black. Even navy and brown are not neutrals for me. I can also hardly stand to wear anything but linen, which I buy at fabricstore.com. This clip and the next show the underlayers. For winter, the skirt is wool, and in spring and fall, linen, with tights and different shirts over a tank top and underwear. Over this, I wear a linen pinafore. They are fitted on top. I like the feeling of having my rib cage enclosed and supported like a hug. I have pinafores in different colors, some matching blouses and skirts, for a monochromatic outfit in different shades. Sometimes I go for a higher waist. The clothes are often embroidered with skirts lined with lace. Linen is amazing. It's easy to sew if you can deal with the way the edges fray. But better yet, it is the most comfortable fabric I have ever worn. The hand is very soft after it has been washed, and it just gets softer. Linen comes in 5 weights at the online store, but the linen I buy is of a looser weave. French and Belgian linen is of tighter weave, but much more expensive. Beware of cheap Chinese linen, which is often made of tow or the short fibers and will wear out easily. I bought some linen sheets from a reputable dealer that only lasted 3 months. For summer, I do have some dresses, usually in a vintage style. I have a flat hat which does not bind my head but protects my face since it takes me 10 minutes to get sunburned and I don't tan. If we think of all the things we have to do to adjust our clothing to fit our bodies, it's boggling. I don't know what I should do if I didn't sew, since ready-made is a joke for me. I do like a flared sleeve, but not too much. They catch on everything. I need clothing that I can wear to work, out in my garden, and visiting. I don't drive, so shoes have to be comfortable and practical, and clothing has to be useful in all weather. I often make a short sleeve blouse with a long sleeve blouse and a skirt to wear in summer. Linen is amazing in summer, breathable, and it doesn't collect the smells that polyester does. I do wear some brighter colors, periwinkle, white, teal, and green. I cannot wear cream or Arctic white, and most pinks and champagne colors have clashed with my skin. Grays are not that great, but neither is tan or beige. I've sold so much in warm colors or pastels that I no longer buy them. I do have some smocks for summer and some embroidered pieces that I love. If you are on the spectrum, enjoy this video. I have made it to show you that you can change the way you dress in order to feel better. Most people change the way they dress in order to look better, ignoring the fact that some of us have to change to feel better. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. Namaste.